25 minutes past the hour. McCowan and Brunt on the radio program. Dan Dunleavy from the World Junior Hockey Championships. Don Banks of Sports Illustrated. Ron McLean of Hockey Night in Canada. Smith and Jones, squeak, 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 clunk, hoops in studio a little bit later on. But first, here's the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, John Ferguson. Happy New Year, Mr. Ferguson.
Happy New Year, Bob. Stephen?
Well, hope it's a better 08 than it was in 07 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We are now, it's shocking, but Brent and I were just talking about, well, where are we? Like a third of the way. We're within a game of the halfway point of the regular season. And, on one hand, you're a couple of points out of a playoff spot. On the other hand, you're 6 points away from last place. And most of this season has been spent kind of hovering about where you are, just below the Mendoza line, if you will, just out of the playoffs. And, well, I guess it's realistic to think that this team could make the playoffs. I'm not so sure if anybody believes that this team can really be a contender for anything. Which brings me to my first question. It's very long-winded, I understand. And that is, if you get close to the trade deadline, John, given your contractual situation, if this team doesn't look like it can achieve anything substantive, is this organization, and are you ready to start looking at rebuilding this hockey club? We talk about it a lot, but I'm interested in what your perspective on that is.
Yeah, there's no question. That's speculative at this point. I mean, right now, obviously, we've got a number of games to play before February 26th to have a better idea of where we're going to sit with just about 20 games or so left after the deadline. Obviously, we'll be prepared to make tough decisions if we need to. We'd like to get a better idea, counting on Toskala coming back here probably within the week, let's face it, if not for Saturday. But we liked the run we had gotten on there, obviously, before he went down and Brian hurt the hand. So we felt we were trying to get a better picture of what we had and how the club was playing. We come off the break and drop the 2 in the Island and Philly, get 1 point there. We get back to 40 points in 40 games as of the other night, and it's a long way to get to it, but when we get to February, we'll make the decisions necessary that are in the best interest of this club and this organization, short term and long term. And that's always part of my thinking. It has been and it will be.
John, is it possible to think both short term and long term? And this is I look at the standings and I look at the way the year has gone so far, and it seems to me that they're two distinct things. You could play to try and squeak into the top 8 and say, boy, there's a bunch of teams that are sort of close and maybe something good will happen, but not really delude yourself into thinking you got a championship contender there. That would be the short-term plan. The long-term would be looking at it and saying, we don't have a team that's going to win a championship. We might be able to squeak into the playoffs, but we have a chance at this stage to make moves that might help us 2 years, 3 years down the line when we could build something that really could achieve. I just wonder if you can actually have a foot in both camps. It doesn't seem possible to me.
Yeah, there are enough teams close enough that there is no question any number of teams that can qualify, and it's been proven going back the number of years, have an opportunity to win. And it's not solely the top team in each conference, but clearly those teams, based on history, have the best chance to win. We can and will continue to put ourselves in position to qualify and go from there, again, subject to making decisions that are going to be in the best interest of this organization come February 26th or shortly prior to, and make an assessment. And those things can occur. It doesn't have to be a straight rebuild and tear it down and take 5 years to recover, which many teams have done over the years, and oftentimes it's not just a 2-year step back. It's oftentimes longer than that.
But I guess what I'm saying, John, is that the history of this team since 1967 is that there have been a smattering of moral victories where the team got into the playoffs and won a round or won 2 rounds or got to the semifinals in '93, and people went away and said, boy, it wasn't that great, and ownership probably felt it was great because they put some money in the bank. But none of that added up to a championship. And surely at some point, that's got to be the goal, rather than let's get in there and hope for the best.
Well, I mean, clearly the championship is our goal, and no one here believes otherwise. And if that came out differently, no. Clearly, the championship is our goal and our sole goal. You need to qualify to get there first. So that's where we sit. We're going to play a team tonight that is going to have Fleury's hurt. Obviously, Crosby was first. Stahl was top 5. Whitney, Malkin number 2. That's 5 years of finishing at the bottom of the league, and going back to the early '90s, and it's going to take them some time, and the salary cap poses different challenges for teams that are trying to do complete rebuilds. Mm-hmm. It is different than before. Players are earning a lot more money early in their careers and are going to be harder to hold on to long term. The free agency age has gone down to 27. And it has changed that mentality across the league. So it is not the same, and it's been over the years.